A lot of weird sounds. It's part of the process. Let's get your voice unstuck. It's something that I practiced over and over again. Rolling in the deep. Hello, mood makers, and welcome to The Voice Mood. I'm your host, Olivia Peck, your local millennial voice teacher. Today, we are going to be talking about how to stop overthinking your voice so you can improve and stop the analysis paralysis spiral. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I used to really obsess over my voice. The voice cracks, register changes, vocal fatigue, literally everything. I was neurotic about my voice. And you know what's kind of weird? As soon as I stopped doing that, I actually gained a lot of vocal freedom. It was the obsessing that caused so much anxiety and got in the way of actually growing and actually improving my voice. In this video, I'll break down why overthinking kills your progress, what to focus on instead, how to make singing fun and consistent. Let's get your voice unstuck. Why overthinking kills progress. Singing well is all about muscle memory. That means repetition, not perfection. I really like this analogy. It's like switching your toothbrush from one hand to the other. Training new vocal habits can feel really weird at first, just like that. Motor learning, although it feels weird, it takes time. Overthinking sabotages freedom because it can even cause vocal tension. If I were to sing, "There's a fire," it's very easy for me to go, I don't really like the tone of that, and focus too much on my tone and too much about trying to mimic Adele or mimic the sound I want. But instead, I should focus on the basics. What are the notes? Hitting them straight on. There's a fire, fire. I can build my tone and technique around those fundamentals. Once I'm really confident about the notes, that's where I can tackle something new, like, I want it to sound softer, and just focus on that. There's a fire, stop. I could do that if I wanted to. I don't know why I would do it like that, but I could. When I was training in classical music, I would literally cry if I didn't get it right in the bathroom. But being that hard on myself made me so anxious. It did not improve my singing. Once I was able to take a step back, I actually took some time away from that type of singing. I improved a lot. I wasn't focusing so much on perfection. I was starting to have fun with it, focusing on a bunch of other things instead. And no, you don't have to love your voice. Acceptance is enough. I really like this podcast by Jeanette McCurdy about body positivity, and she said, she doesn't have to love her body, she just has to like it, she just has to accept it. And I think it's the same with our voice. It's easy to feel really doom and gloom and just hate the way we sound, but you don't have to love it, just accept it for now. And you might grow to love it. You can get used to your voice and you can like it and then start to like it even more and then maybe even love your voice, which is always a goal when I'm working with students. And let's talk about voice confrontation. Voice confrontation is a real thing. It's when we're really thrown off by hearing our voice on a recording because it's not what we're used to hearing inside our head. It's two different things. But even legends like Bono, Jimi Hendrix, Mac Miller, they tended to dislike their voices at times. So you're in good company. It's a very natural thing. Instead of obsessing over every note and how it sounds, ask yourself, is it bad or is it just something new? Is it something different? So let's get out of your head. Here's what actually matters when you sing. Here's what to build that muscle memory for. Breath control, range awareness and coordination, vowel shaping, tension-free singing, pitch accuracy, and navigating chest, mix, and head voice if that's the way you learn, if those are words that resonate with you. Here's a quote from one of my favorite voice scientists and teachers, Meredith Colby, of the neurovocal method. To build reliable motor memories, you must do a thing repeatedly in the same way until your brain decides, okay, this is just what we do now. Let's break it down. Let's talk about breath. Breathing for singing is intentional. When you don't have great breath control, you run into pitch issues, cracking, and honestly, the one I see most is over singing. People over sing a lot. A lot of people just take way too big of breaths. For instance, for microphone singing, you want to use your breath when you sing, but it doesn't necessarily mean you need to take giant breaths. It's just a common misconception, and people have it stuck in their head that breathing is about taking really big breaths. It really depends on what you're singing. Sometimes you do need to take a bigger breath. It depends on if you're singing opera or with a certain type of voice, like really open tone, or if you're trying to sing in mixed voice. Mixed voice takes less breath. So it really depends on what's going on, okay? Here's a hack to build that muscle memory. Lip trills. Lip trills are your best friend if you can do them. And if you can't, I have a very niche video about what to do instead. Maybe it's on this side. I don't know. I'll put the link up here. You can click it if you're like, I can't do a lip trill. That's a lip trill. You can actually sing on a lip trill. I'm training my breath to be engaged while I'm making different pitches. That's simple. If you find that the lip trills are doing that, you can't keep them going, that means that, yeah, maybe you need to check in with your breath, make sure that it's still engaged throughout the entire phrase and you're not forgetting about your breath halfway through. Point is, lip trills are really great. You should just sing on a lip trill sometimes or repeatedly so you build that muscle memory, right? That's what the whole point of this video is. It's repetition, building motor memories. All right, let's talk about vocal range, how you can build that muscle memory for vocal range. Slides, or some people call them sirens, are great. They help your brain predict what you need to do next as you go up or down throughout your range. Here's a siren, okay? Try it on different vowels. If you're trying to smooth out cracks in your voice, expand your range, you should be doing slides every time you warm up. Dude, I slide every day. I be sliding. I slide. It's fantastic. It's very profesh. Lots of people who are professional singers, they slide.
Best warm-up is I call the siren.
So slide. How about building that muscle memory for vowels? Yes, vowels are literally that important for singing. Singing vowels are not the same as speaking vowels most of the time. When I sing the song, Mamma Mia, here I go again, guess what? I wasn't using my speaking vowels. If I did, I would sound like this. Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how could I? Mamma Mia, here I go again. I don't sing like that. I sing more like, Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how could I resist ya? Do I sound weird? Yes, but it's something that I practiced over and over again so that when I sing, I go, Mamma Mia, instead of Mamma Mia. Okay? When you learn how to do your vowels correctly, which is a more lifted vowel, is the way I describe it. Pretty much all vowels are more lifted. Ah, oh, ooh, just a little bit. Even in pop music, okay? Everything's a little bit more elongated. And you lift your soft palate just a little bit. And there's a video about lifting your soft palate as well. So you want to really isolate vowels and practice your singing vowels. My favorite warm-up for this is going mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Practicing your singing vowels. So instead of going mi, me, ma, mo, mu, mi, me, ma, mo, mu, you want to get in the habit of always using singing vowels, taller vowels, than when you speak. It's gonna go a long way. How do you sing without tension? Tension-free singing. Some people say they stretch a lot. That's great. Massages, great. But there's a way to practice some muscle memory things so that you sing with less tension. It's a broad word. So today we'll just talk about one. Tongue tension. I used to have terrible tongue tension. You'll know if you have tongue tension if you kind of sound a little bit like Kermit the Frog sometimes. And you can feel your tongue sliding back a little too far. Okay? That's some tongue tension. What helped? singing with my tongue out. One day you'll find it, the rainbow connection. Once you get used to that sensation of your tongue being a little bit more relaxed and less involved, one day you'll find it, the rainbow. I don't know that song at all. I just wanted to do, isn't that Kermit the Frog? That's his song. Oh. Say, can you see by the dawn? I'm not even sticking it out that far because this is a YouTube video. It's going to live on the internet forever. But yeah, you can really stick it out really far. Okay, now I'm singing with a more relaxed tongue, and I got used to that sensation, and now my tongue isn't sliding back like this as much. A lot of weird sounds. It's part of the process. All right, so what about pitch, vocal registers? Those are other things you can work on. Isolate those motor memories by themselves. Wondering about it? Let me know in the comments if that's something that you're struggling with or curious about. I want to move right along. Let's go into talking about how to make singing more fun and stay more consistent so that you actually improve and don't get stuck. Singing should be fun. I think we all want it to be very fun, but practicing is not always fun. Here's how to make it easier. You can make singing a passive activity. In fact, I find that when you move around and do stuff while you sing, you lock up a little bit less. Do warm-ups in the car while you're driving. Do your mouth exercises in the mirror, your vowels in the mirror. That's kind of fun. Do some audiation scales in your head while you're in a really boring work meeting. You can actually think about singing. It does help to silently practice. So if your voice is tired, if you have a case of laryngitis, if you're on vocal rest, you can actually silently practice. When you're listening to that song that you are learning, you can think about singing it in your head, and those muscles will actually engage even though you're just thinking about singing. Another thing you can do is practice one skill at a time. Instead of perfecting a whole song and all the moving parts, just focus on one thing at a time. Lyrics, rhythm, vowels, pitches, dynamics, facial expressions. There's so many different things you can practice, and you can practice them one at a time. And go in an order that makes sense. Like, I would say start with speaking the lyrics in rhythm. Then maybe practice the pitches by themselves without adding words. Then practice singing on just the vowels. Then put it all together and make sure those consonants are really short. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn? How else can you stay consistent and not want to give up? Celebrate the small wins. This was taught to me by another acting teacher. The truth is, big breakthroughs happen slowly most of the time. So let's reward the small stuff, okay? Have I really been blind? Little gold stars aren't just for kids. All right, let's talk about what to stop doing. These are the things that I would avoid doing, okay? Because it's getting in the way of your progress, probably. It's what I've seen before. Stop switching methods constantly. Pick a warm-up routine, stick with it. I, of course, like my warm-up routine. But if you find one that works with you, stick with it. It's a good way to track your progress. Definitely stop comparing your voice to others. Your voice is your fingerprint. It's definitely not going to be the same as anybody else's. We know not to compare ourselves on social media and in the workplace, so don't compare your voice either. Don't wait to love your voice or like your voice before you start singing. Sing anyway. Record yourself anyway. Growth starts when you just do it. Overthinking your voice is totally normal, but you don't want it to take over and you don't want it to halt your progress. Give yourself permission to be curious instead of critical. And remember, you're allowed to sing before you feel fully confident. Please. Do it. If you need help building habits that stick, You know where to find me. You can book a lesson with me at oliviapeck.com. All of that stuff is in the description. Or leave a comment below with your questions and I will answer them on my next live stream, which I love to do weekly. Hit the subscription button and notification bell so you don't miss out on those. Most importantly, as Lester Holt says, take care of yourselves and each other. Happy singing!